All right, all right, all right. Let's get rocking. Hey, thanks for being here, everybody. I know your time is valuable, and I hope you get something out of this today. So before we get started, we have a few guests here today that I want to have you hear from today. We said we're going to go with healthcare first, correct?
All right.
You'd like to come up, and people will start kind of gradually coming in, so go ahead and take your minute.
Thanks, guys. My name is Laura. I'm a health coverage advisor. So we're just going to do a quick tutorial on how you can gain health coverage this season. So your first option in the market is your Medicaid plans. These are typically for people that are below poverty level. Okay, then you have your Medicare. Medicare is for 65 and older, or those with some type of medical condition. Okay, your third option could be an employee coverage option. And your fourth option would be your Obamacare ACA marketplace plans. Okay, this is your typical nickname Obamacare. Your last option is private coverage. So most people fall under the two categories of ACA plans, Obamacare plans, and private coverage. But there's two ways to qualify for a marketplace plan. Does anyone know one way? Typically it's a lower income. Okay, so you're going to qualify for a subsidy maybe on the marketplace plan. Your second way is if you have some type of pre-existing condition, whether it be diabetes, obesity, mental emotional disorders, cancer, leukemia, anything. Basically, they're going to take you no matter what. Now, the bad thing about the Obamacare plans is that because they do insure everyone, you're going to have a higher deductible and a higher monthly premium to qualify for. So what I would like to do today is to see if you guys would possibly qualify for private coverage. Now with private coverage, you do have to be fairly healthy, but that's where you're going to find your low deductible, more economical coverages for a lower cost. So, okay, who likes money?
Oh yeah.
All right. If we can get everyone, it's a 15-minute assessment. It's free. These are scheduled for tomorrow. Okay, please pick a time that we can speak over the phone for 10-15 minutes. We'll just assess your situation for free, kind of see what it is that what you currently have now. Now, everyone that signs up today for an appointment tomorrow is going to go in for a drawing for $100.
Ooh,
sound good?
I like that.
All right, start here. Thank you, appreciate it.
Somebody already gave me $100, so hey, thank you for coming in with that. We appreciate it. So the little things on our chairs, I'm assuming that's coming from you?
Yep, these are CPR face masks. Unfortunately, I ran into a situation where I had to give CPR to someone, and it wasn't a very pretty situation. So you never know if you're with a client or in a home, someone has a heart attack, you may need something like this.
This is like a cover?
Yeah, this goes over the face, so you know. Just to protect you also.
That's a good thing. I had to give CPR to an older guy. I literally had to pull his teeth out first. It was not a pretty sight. And it was because it was like, it's one of the highlights of my careers. So thank you for that and giving us that information. So we have a home builder here who would like to come up and tell us about your great product.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I'll be short and sweet, everybody, but just really quick, my name's Katie Perez, and I work for Hamlet Homes. We started in 1994, and we build townhomes and single-family houses. We have some really great products, quick incentives going on right now. We have a townhome community out in Taylorsville. We're selling it for $289,990 with options and upgrades, guys. You're not going to see anything like it. It's going away at the end of the year, so. If you have anyone that's interested, let me know. My number is on those flyers, so if you guys want to just grab one on your way out, that would be awesome. Yeah.
You got a drawing for a free home, right? For everybody here, right?
Yeah.
Darn.
So, anyways, yeah, so any questions, let me know. HOA is really, really good. Internet, sewer, trash, landscaping, snow removal.
Yeah.
So.
You guys have always been really good to work with, so thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And certainly healthcare is something that we all need, and I think it's probably one of the biggest questions I have as a broker, people wanting to know where they can get insurance. So you guys see her for that, her for new builds. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, so Inspiro, you guys, and you've heard me say this before, but it's extremely important that we keep saying it. Inspiro, these guys do loans unlike anybody out there. Their fees are around $500 less than anybody in the marketplace. They go from origination to Wall Street. May not mean a lot to you, but it really is a lot. So today we're going to have Paul come up for a few minutes and talk to us about Inspiro.
Well, thanks again. I know most of you. Again, we appreciate your association and want to be able to offer our services in any way we can. We feel like we've got some great things available. We have a number of new people down there, including processors, and we're getting our own underwriters. We do have our own underwriters. They just don't happen to be in the facility yet, but they will be. And so just keep us in mind and come down and introduce yourselves, or I can then make the introductions in your behalf to the others that have just joined us. Rates are still really good. Home sales are brisk still. And we usually post the rates publicly here each day and give you an update. Just wanted to make you aware, Phil had a loan. Phil recently joined us here at Inspiro, and you know, one of the things that you do as a loan officer when you join a company, you want to know how they deliver. Okay, as an agent, you certainly are interested in wanting to know how your lender partner can deliver. Well, as a LO, and Phil's one of them just recent, you want to know how your company can deliver. And he had a file come in last Wednesday, the 13th, and got a underwriting approval on Tuesday, which is 6 days, including the weekend.
Wow.
So anyway, I think it's great for everybody to know that, but certainly great for Phil, because you're always sitting on pins and needles as to what's going to take place, behind us. And we have a lot of people behind us here in the company, and we're, Grant, it's good news for me too. Yeah. I think the last thing is again, if you would like to have an introduction to anybody downstairs, we're all here to serve you. We have friendly competition, but again, just because I'm there doesn't mean you have to do business with me. Phil's great, Jim is awesome, we got Marita and others yet to come on. So anyway, feel comfortable about walking in, and if you see me, you don't have to go like this. Just know that we're all friendly, and we all want to help in our mutual success. Any thoughts, comments, questions? Anyone need a journal refill?
Journal refill.
Perfect.
Very good.
Paul, thank you.
Thanks.
These guys, being our partner downstairs is so good. My journey with Phil's been about 18 years now. Back Jessica, memories from over at Coldwell. So I was a manager at Coldwell about 7 years ago, and one of our great agents decided they were going to leave, and I was like, ugh, where? Century 21. And I'm like, why? Because I think they can take me places you guys can't. I don't even remember what it was the conversation was. I was just angry. I was really angry because one of our top people I really cared about had taken this journey with, decided they were going to take a journey over here. And then Phil recruited me over here. And I thought, now I see the light. So Jessica was over there doing her business, and she did such a great book of business. But over here, she's going to tell you, how much better this place is, and the reality, the change that's come upon her, and watching that transformation, and watching that journey. We've asked her to come here today to kind of share her ideas and things about her journey, and different things about her. So let's give her a warm welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here, and you guys, I have worked with Katie. She is awesome. So if you guys have anybody looking for new builds, definitely reach out to her because they do a really good job. And then, yes, Phil is amazing. We've known each other for a really long time, and Paul is working with one of my clients right now. and has been really, really good and responsive. So you guys give them a shot. I think they do a really, really good job. So today, my goal for you guys is to just help you take away something that you can use for your business or your finances, or maybe just shift your mindset just a little bit on real estate in general, because I think we all know that there are a lot of different ways to get to the top. My way is not the only way. There's a lot of people doing things completely different than me, and they're working. And so just know that because I say one thing doesn't mean I necessarily disagree. I might, but I might not disagree with them, but this is the way that's working for me. And I think that we're always looking for ways to improve. At least I have been for years. George used to always say to me, and say to all of us really, is it's who you become along the way, as well as you can't get to this level until you become a different person. And I think until a couple years ago, I don't really think that I fully understood that. I totally get it now. I mean, it makes perfect sense. You guys, if you are not making the money that you want to be making right now, you're just not the person you need to be yet. And maybe you are, but I think it will be short-lived. That's my opinion. I think a long time ago, I wanted to be here, but I just mentally wasn't there yet. So work on yourself a little bit more. That's something that I've really been working on probably for the last 15 years. It takes time, and I think that's a really important part. Working on yourself is going to reflect in your income, so keep that in mind. Curious who's been in the business for under 2 years in real estate? 2 years? Okay, awesome. Who's been in over 5 years? Okay, over 10 years? You can just keep your hand up, Rick. Over 20 years?
20.
Okay, awesome. And who here is a team lead? Okay, awesome. And anybody on a team here? Okay, perfect. So you guys, we all can see here that it's a big range of people in here, and I think that all of you guys can take away something from this. I'm gonna give you a little bit of my background and just my journey over the years. So I started in 2005 at Coldwell Banker. And who's familiar with the Journey to Mastery program? You too. Perfect. You guys will probably raise your hand a lot. So Russ Orchard spearheaded that along with a couple other people. And I think, do we have a similar program here?
Peak. It's better than JTM.
Is it?
Peak is kind of like a supercharger on JTM.
Okay. At the time, I felt like JTM was a supercharged, whatever you just said.
Yeah.
So you guys, I came from the legal field. So out of high school when I was 18, I went in, got my paralegal degree and worked in the legal industry in real estate law for 8 years. My plans were to go to law school. I was studying for the LSAT and decided to get into real estate. And everyone, of course, at the time, I know some of you have heard this, really thought that I was throwing away my life. I can't believe you're going to be a real estate agent. I didn't know anybody in the real estate industry, and so it was something that I just was not familiar with. I had no idea, you guys, it was sales. I was single, I owned a home, I had a car. I used to put sticky notes kind of when I would show homes over like my check engine light and oil and all of that. I mean, I was really broke because I did not have any closings. And I worked really hard. I bet I worked 6-7 days a week till 10 at night, and I'm not exaggerating. You guys, I did not get paid for 6 months. And I was like, this is a horrible business. This is like awful. But Austin Kales, you know, at the summit was saying he was really bad in the beginning and he worked really hard. That was me. I just was not meant for sales. It just was really hard for me in the beginning. It wasn't my thing. And I think that actually was the best thing ever for me, because I had to work extra hard and it took me longer. So I learned the grind, and I learned that I would maybe have to make a few more calls and work on my skills that much more in order to be where I wanted to be. So fast forwarding a little bit, I joined Coldwell Banker in the very beginning in 2005, and I was there for maybe 7-ish years, maybe 6 years, and went through Journey to Mastery. I think it was really good. They did quantum home tours. I did tons of door knocking. I did lots of open houses. I literally did anything anybody told me to do. I was just a sponge. I wish I could go back to those days because I do not do what my coach tells me right now. But I think when you have that hunger when you're first in the business that you just want to know everything. So I did everything, I did the mall kiosks all the time. There used to be something in the mall where people would walk by and you would say, do you want to buy a house? It was awful. It was awful, but that's what I did. I did anything to get business, basically. I joined the Mike Ferry organization, and who here is with Mike Ferry right now? Or a similar coach even, it doesn't have to be Mike Ferry. Who's coached here?
Oh, yeah.
3, 4 people?
A few of
Okay.
us, yeah.
So when I was coached with Mike Ferry, it's been quite a while now. I don't know if this is just what I heard at that time in my life or if this is what I was taught. So I don't really know. But cold business, cold business, cold business. FSBOs expires. So that is what I did. I know Tim and I made a lot of calls. Dave Stocco and I made a ton of calls together, and Alma as well. That's all we did is cold business. So that's how I built my business. I could not get past 10 million, you guys. So 10 million's probably, depending on your price range, what, 25 to 30 transactions, maybe 200 to 250 GCI, I would say ballpark, I don't know. Who here is stumped, it doesn't have to be at 10 million, but at a certain amount that they feel they can't get past? Okay, how long have you been there, Tim?
I've been there the last probably 3 or 4 years, stuck it.
Why do you think you can't get past it?
My mindset. That's why I'm here now. That's why I made the move.
Yeah, that's awesome. You think it's your mindset?
Yeah.
Okay. So with that 10 million, and you guys, I bet I was stuck there for 6 years straight. I just could not. My first full year in real estate, I did 27 transactions, and I just could not get past that 30, 35 transactions. And so my little girl was born in 2011, and I decided that I was going to stay home with her. Well, that's actually not what happened. I was here at this office, I think, and I said, well, I'm gonna come back in 6 weeks. Once I have my little girl, I used to prospect, and I was 9 months pregnant up until the day I delivered, and Dave Stocco would go on appointments for me, and I would set the appointments and he'd go because nobody's gonna hire a 9-month-old pregnant lady. So I would have him go and get the actual listing. And so I said, I'm gonna be back in 6 weeks, and I had my little girl, and she was super cute, and I always wanted to be that person that went to the gym at 10 a.m., and I always wondered about those people. And I was like, this is kind of cool. My husband makes money, and I don't really know if we need my money. I don't know if my husband agreed with that, but I'm like, I think I'm just gonna stay home for a little bit. So I stayed home for 3 years, and I just bought homes at auction and would flip homes. And who here is in a business that is mainly cold? Be truthful. Raise your hands. Okay, who's in the business of mainly warm? Okay, some of you aren't raising your hand. So who's in the business of cold business? Majority of your business, over 50% is cold. Okay, so when you have a cold business, when you stop working, does your business stop?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what happened. I had my little girl, 3 years, I mean, I would maybe do 5 transactions. So fast forwarding, you guys, I got back into the business about 5 years ago. And I came in and I said, you know what, I am not gonna do it the same way. I'm not saying I haven't called for sell by owners. I maybe call them 1 or 2 months out of the year when my inventory is low. There's nothing wrong with calling them. I think it's great, quick business. I think it's awesome. But for me personally, I wanted to shift my business. I wanted to have more of a business. Not that real estate is, but I wanted it to be people calling me on occasion as well. So I really started to work on my warm business versus just cold business. So for 6, 7 years doing cold business, 10 million was my cap. I couldn't get past 10 million. 250-ish GCI. You guys, last year, keep in mind, I have one person that does sales on my team. That's me. One person on my sales team, Delilah, and she'll come up here in just a minute. She is amazing. She's licensed, but she does not work on the sales side. And then I have Bree as well. So I have 2 people that do basically, they're amazing. I am so grateful for them. They do everything outside of sales. So last year, we closed, I think it's 79 transactions.
Wow.
GCI was 750, 748. And you guys, anyone that knows me, I hate talking about GCI because I think it's just not reality. So my net was about 402. You guys, that's about 54% gross versus net ratio. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is super exciting. So for me, my mindset is fully focused on what is my net. Anybody, raise your hand again if you're in the business under 2 years and under 5 years. Okay. Do you guys hear big numbers? Do you hear big numbers?
Oh, sure. I just heard them.
Yeah. So when you hear, I'm curious, as a newer agent, are you newer, did you say?
Between 2 and 5 years.
Okay, so when you hear numbers, do you figure, like if someone says, oh, I made 500 grand last year, do you really take it as they made 500 grand?
No.
Oh, that's good. So you guys have figured it out. But there's a lot of talk about gross, and here's my big advice to you guys. If you are not a big team, this won't relate to you as much, but your net is so much more important than your gross, you guys. And we hear all these big gross numbers, and they don't mean anything. They really don't, you guys. It's really your net and what you are saving and giving is what your focus really should be about. And that has changed everything for me, is just really focusing on those things. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. There's a few other things I want to touch on, but I'm going to do things. I need your guys' participation. Will you guys agree to participate? Say yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Delilah, will you please come up here?
Of course.
Awesome. So I want to know, because I might be in a different place than some of you guys are, and I want this time to be valuable for you. I want to know what questions you guys have, what you want me to touch on, so that when you walk out of here, your questions are answered. So if you don't have questions, yes.
So I just shifted to calling warm leads
Good.
from cold.
Good job. Oh my
Last
gosh,
week.
that's so exciting.
All right, and I never thought I would be scared to call people that know me, right?
I was.
And so I start thinking after I call them once, that I'm like, well, what am I going to say to them when I call them next month? So how do I continue to offer value to people that know me?
Okay, I love that, and I just you're a super likable guy. You should be calling people you know.
I'm learning
And
that.
I was there. I would love to call anybody but people I know. It's ego. That's all it is ego. We don't want people to think we need them.
Right.
You guys, we need them.
Yeah.
We do. We need them to refer people to us. And so I think a really good way to create that is try to be the connector for people. Okay? So it's not really about you all the time. I know that's hard, but it's not, is reaching out to people and letting them know not just that you want their business, but that you actually want to be their connection. I am very involved in the real estate world. I meet a lot of doctors, I meet a lot of attorneys, I meet a lot of trades, and I would love to be that connection for you. If you ever need a plumber, electrician, it doesn't even have to be about real estate. You want them to call you about everything. So shift your mindset of trying to be a connector for your SOI, your sphere of influence, your business people that you connect with. And I think it will really change your world in terms of not what can they do for me, but what can I do for you. Every single call I get off the phone with, unless it's like my update calls weekly, I am asking, what can I do for you? And then I just be quiet. Well, gosh, you know what? I need a house cleaner. Great. I just created value for them. So I think it's important at the end of the call. I'm not saying I don't ask for business, but if I haven't called someone in 3 years, I don't have the right to ask them for business. That's my opinion. I need to create some value. I need to have some events. I need to, happy hours that may work for your crowd. I have a lot of young families. We are in Utah. I tried happy hours for a long time. They didn't work great for me. That doesn't mean they wouldn't work great for you, depending on your age and kind of what your crowd is. If you have an older group of people that maybe don't have kids, I think happy hours could be great, like monthly happy hours. to get face-to-face with your clients. Give them 2 tickets, basically, that says, here's 2 tickets, you give them 2 drinks. We don't want drunk people at our happy hours. But give them a couple tickets and buy them a couple drinks and just try to connect business people, because most business people want to be connected with others. So I'm gonna write a few things up here that you guys want me to touch on.
Jessica, what's been your best tool to connect business people? Is it the events, or is BNI? I mean, what do you
Yeah,
do?
so I am in a BNI group that's been good. I don't know what our percentage is. Do you know our percentage for?
Off the top of my head from BNI,
Uh-huh.
maybe 10, 15.
Percent,
Mhm.
which is probably 100 grand, I bet, for sure. And we were looking yesterday, you guys, it's awesome. I didn't know I always tell people I'm 80% referral based, because we're 90%. 10% of my business right now is cold, 10. So
Wow.
it is 41%, is it?
44.
44% is business. Business people referring business to me.
What does that look like?
So creating relationships with attorneys, estate attorneys, like that, even builder reps, that can be, CPAs, retired real estate agents, agents outside of Utah. I mean, any of those relationships, get creative, but basically anyone in the business world, you can create. Real estate, you guys, we can help them with anything.
So how did you develop those relationships? Did you call
It's time.
attorneys you didn't know and kind of like a cold call?
Yeah. And that's the thing, if you guys can find that triangle of trust, that's always best. I know someone that you know, hey,
Right.
could you call them and connect us? And that's always going, warm, if I can find a warm intro into them, that is always going to be my number one focus, is trying to get into them. But I think, this is, the part that people do not like about the way that I do business, and it was hard for me as well, because FSBOs and expireds, I can set an appointment, I can go take a listing, and I can get paid in 30 days. That's exciting, right? That is much better. But you guys, if you can find 5 to 10 people that will refer you 5 to 10 transactions and create those channel accounts in your business, so it's not just one person, and you can do that with clients. Some stay-at-home moms are talkers. I mean, if you know it's the social person, those are the people. It doesn't have to be business people. It has to be the people that are connected in the community. What about charities? Who here is involved in charities? Awesome. You can go really deep into that arena, which I have not, because I'm too indecisive to make a decision. But that is gonna be my big focus, probably in the next year, is trying to create 3 new channel accounts. Because if I can just create 3 new channel accounts, I can add another 20, 30 deals to me. And for me, keep in mind, that's not my team doing it, meaning salespeople doing it, that's me. So that my net on that is so much more.
Tell me what you mean when you say channel account.
So a channel account is someone that is going to refer me at least 5 people per year. A big channel account would be 10 people a year.
And how do you service that account to make sure that they know that they're appreciated and you're thinking of them?
So you get in relationships with these people. Like, you go to dinner with them, you go golfing with them. You have to find that common. I mean, my business really is about relationships. It's fun. It is, and that's another thing. If you can get into a business that is more about having fun, like we've gone to lunch and had mimosas. I mean, you guys, you can create fun in your business. It doesn't have to be, not that I don't grind and don't, but it can be fun and just really like you create a relationship. So you have to like them. If you have nothing in common, it's probably not a great channel account for you. So, what are some things you guys want me to touch on? And Delilah's gonna write them down.
So one thing, and this is just my belief system as being a newer agent,
Yeah.
but I just recently had a story where a lady joined an HOA, okay?
Okay.
And she was an agent. Well,
Mhm.
everybody knew within a week. The only reason she joined that HOA was to get more business. And so how are you stopping your relationship from just seeing you as, oh, she's taking me to dinner because she wants my business. She's taking me golfing because she wants my business.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that, and I don't really care what they think. To be honest, in terms of, that's really not my intent. Like, is that my intent with people usually?
Never.
My intent is not, I really am building relationships, and Delilah knows more, it's usually not about me. I mean, it's usually not, and you've got to join something more than just for you, to want to give back. You know, I could be a great asset to this HOA. I think if you're really not joining it only because of business, that you feel like, you know what, I can help these guys out, I have a ton of knowledge in this area, they will see through it if it's not real,
Right.
I think. So I don't feel that, I guess, is what
Okay.
I'm saying. I think maybe, I don't think everyone's gonna feel that way. I bet you think they think that, and I don't know if everyone really does.
I
So,
think
so
that's-
if you take them to dinner and you take them golfing, you're doing all these things for them, and then they cut you off from the deals, do you cut them off?
What do you mean cut you off?
They don't give you any, they don't have a part in your channel account anymore.
Yeah, at some point you would remove them from your top 50, so that's how I have a top 25, I have top 50, and I have a top 100 people, but we have a lot of people in our top
It's
100.
more like 250 people.
In my top 100. Yeah, but
It's
I
just a name.
had to categorize them in some way, because I can't be in relationship with everyone.
Right, that's kind of what I'm, yeah.
So I would say, yes, if you have been, and there's some people that I should probably shift out of mine, but I kind of like them, and so it hasn't been a big deal. But yeah, you have to categorize people, and if they're not, you feel like it's a one-sided relationship, then maybe they're not in your top 25 or you're not in your top 50. Does that answer your question? Okay.
I think something that helps on that too is
Yeah.
what you touched on. These channel accounts are people that you like to talk to, like people that
Agreed.
you like to hang out with. And so I think that helps, because I have the same question too, and I always worry about that stuff. But when you're meeting these people and you have a connection with them and you just like to talk to them, that doesn't become a worry anymore because
Yeah.
you just are hanging out with them.
I think it's your intention behind it. Yes, is it business related? Yes, it is, but at the same time, you like that person. I think that it's taken me years to go from transitional versus relationship-based business. And I still am working on it constantly. When you're in a transaction and that's your only mindset, it's hard to shift to that relationship-based business. But once you get there, I think it feels different, because you really are not attached as much to the outcome. Yes, do you need to assess it and make sure it makes sense? Of course you do. But I think that they know you can have a relationship and basically have a conversation with them. What was your first name?
Matthew.
Matthew. So basically you could say, hey Matthew, I really enjoy working with you. I know you work on the tax side of things. I've sent you a few people over the years, and I'm just curious, if you were to run across somebody that's looking to buy or sell real estate, would you refer them to me?
Sure.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really excited to work with your clients. Who do you know right now that I could possibly help? So, I mean, I think at some time maybe you do need to actually have a conversation with them and ask them, hey, this is a business relationship, although we do fun things as well. I think you need to talk to them about it.
Yeah.
So it must be incredibly motivating to have the kind of business you have, and I'm sure that gets you up every day to come in and keep the plate spinning, so to speak. But going back years in your career, what were some of the things that you had to overcome as far as mindset, and how did you keep your mind in the game and keep your focus on what your outcome wanted to be? Because obviously you had great vision back then to arrive where you're at now.
Yeah, and that's a great question. I think mindset, I'm gonna circle back around to that with the mindset. Any others that we wanna touch on, and we'll put them up there and I'll circle back to them.
How difficult was it when you were doing the cold calling in the beginning, then you took the break, and then to just flip that switch like a 180 to go in and just, I mean, because everything you'd ever done in real estate was cold calling, right?
Everything.
And to get that system up and going, like what was the biggest challenge?
So shift from
From
transitional
cold
to, yeah. Okay.
how do you schedule your time, Jessica? Do you plan to have, well, and I don't.
Delilah does it for me.
Well,
Delilah does
hour by
everything.
hour, but you know, I'm gonna have X number of lunches this week, I'm going to have interactions, how do you, what does that look like for you? Are they events, are they business lunches, are, you know, do you golf once a week, is it twice a week? What do you do?
I don't call, but,
Okay.
so, time management, basically to fit VIPs in.
Well, and I guess along those lines, instead of saying, I'm gonna call X number of FSBOs today and I'm gonna set so many appointments, what does that look like when you're working relationships?
Yes. So, and Delilah, you can jump on this because you guys, honestly, let me ask you this, who has someone on their team, not a salesperson, that is your right-hand person? Okay. That person is key to helping you succeed, and they need to be managing that. So Bree actually gives me who I'm calling every day. Because if I have to figure out who I'm calling, I'm gonna go like, I don't wanna call that person, I'm not gonna call that person. Who does that? You call them? Yeah, right? You're like, I love them, and I'm not calling them.
It's funny how we remember them, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we really know them.
and you guys, I do that too, and if you're doing that, take them off the list, truly. So she gives me my list, and how many years did this take me to finally do it? My coaches told me this for 4 years.
Yeah.
When did we start implementing it?
5 months ago.
5 months
6
ago.
months ago.
So finally, she gives me my people to call. So for example, A through Z, so my database, basically she prints out 30 people a day that I have to call. Okay, and I put check marks on them.
And we
And-
hold her accountable. I ask her every day in our team meeting, did you make your calls? If she didn't make her calls, she gives me $25.
And I give Bree
Can I be on that
$25.
team?
So I would rather not give them that every single day. And so, and it's embarrassing because they're doing their job, and if I'm not doing mine, I just don't feel very good. So basically, I check off who I call on that, and then also, who uses Top Producer in here?
I have.
You guys all have CRMs though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't, make sure you have a CRM to manage it, and there's lots of great ones out there. Top Producer's not perfect, but it works for what we use it. But basically, and then she will print out basically all of my other calls I need to make. So any leads that I needed to follow up on, basically any clients that I need to call. So we have a team meeting first thing in the morning, 9:30 every single day. On Wednesdays, it's a little bit later because I have BNI that starts at 7:30. And we have a team meeting 95% of the time. We have it. And the goal, you guys, so anyone that has a team, even if you guys, there's only 3 of us. So you don't have to have a big, huge team to have a team meeting. If there's 2 of you, have a team meeting because it will make, what do you guys think a team meeting is for? I'm curious. What do you think a team meeting is for?
Have a meeting of the minds and know what the daily action plan is.
Okay, what else do we think? Yes.
Accountability.
Accountability. What else?
Plan for the day.
Plan for the day. Okay, all of those are right. The number one reason is to limit distractions from me bugging my team and my team coming in. Not that you're ever bugging me, but I will bug them. I'll be, gosh, you know what? Did we do this? And they're like, leave me alone. Go get on your phone, get on your calls. Basically, what that is supposed to do is create you not going back and forth and doing what you're not supposed to be doing. Team meeting, you guys, is key to being productive.
And
So-
have an agenda for your team meeting every day, or you'll just start to talk and just about random things. So we have a different thing that we talk about our clients, we do our board,
Pipeline.
all of our under contracts, our actives, and then each day though is slightly different after that what we do. So like Wednesday or Tuesdays we role play and ask questions. Wednesdays I don't remember, but
'Cause I just switched
We
them
just
up.
switched them up, but just
But we
have
have
an
book club
agenda
one
every
day as well.
Mhm.
So, and that you guys, just so you know, I don't run the team meeting either. Delilah runs the team meeting. I just show up for it. She has a motivational video that she basically presents to us. And then we all do a peek of the week basically on Monday, what was great about the weekend. And then they tell me what's going on all the files. I don't want to be in the files. I do Tuesday updates, basically. Every Tuesday I call my clients. You guys, my job is not to tell them what's going on in the file. She updates them Monday. My job on Tuesday is to ask for referrals. Okay? So current client referrals, you guys, if you are closing a handful, you should be getting those current client referrals. We're always trying to increase that. On the listing appointment, I am setting them up. My team is going to call you and ask you for referrals. So if we do a great job, please don't keep us a secret. I am prepping them and setting those expectations in the very beginning. Hey, we're gonna call and ask for referrals. So then Delilah doesn't feel uncomfortable calling and asking for referrals on a weekly basis. So that's something that's really important. Anything else that's really important for you guys, for me to touch on?
For me, in the beginning, did you ever have problems with hitting up your people, your friends? I guess I just don't want to be that guy that everybody ignores when they're like this when they walk into a party. I just don't want to be that guy, and so that's a hang up for me, and I want to get beyond that. Did you have that problem?
You're totally normal. Yes. You're normal, and yes, I did. And that's why I called cold business for 7 years. Because my ego was, and if maybe people disagree that it's ego, I think you don't want to, I understand where you're coming from, and I think if you are providing them with value, you're not going to be that guy. And if you have the mindset of, oh my gosh, well, what if they go and work with this other person? We know this industry. There's only a handful of really good agents that people should be working with. Here's another interesting, who here is a little bit shook by, let's say, discount brokers and where the real estate industry is going? Just curious. And you can be honest, raise your hand if you're the only one.
Most of them are.
Okay, I am.
Yes, me.
Okay. If I'm being truthful, you guys, if you are in a cold business, that's who you're competing with.
Yeah.
If you are in a warm business, you are setting yourself apart from them. So if you are in a warm business, you should not even care about those people.
I have a question.
Bingo.
Yes.
My name is Amara. I moved here in September from San Francisco.
Okay.
I'm a San Francisco realtor with Century 21.
Oh gosh, you just got a huge pay cut.
So, basically, I moved here permanently though.
Okay.
So I'm joining this office starting
Awesome.
today. And in San Francisco, Redfin is offering 1% commission. Basically, it's like a virtual realtor who's gonna sell your house for you for 1% commission.
Yeah.
So a lot of people doing that. And I haven't seen a Redfin for sale sign here in Utah yet. So
Yeah.
are they here?
They are here, and there's a lot of different companies that are discount brokers, and here's my response to that, guys. In 2005, 2006, it was the exact same way.
Yeah.
The business shifted a little bit, and all of them got out of the business. So here's my response to that. If you are a cold business, basically, only working cold leads, that's who your competition is, and the only thing they're looking at is what's your commission. You guys, I rarely get commission questions. Very rarely. Because it's people I know, people I like, and people that respect what I do. So that's my response to that. If you are in a relationship-based business, they are not going to be looking at you as just a commission. If you are just someone that's cold calling, that's your competition. So my response to that is get into relationships. Get involved in the community. Being new to Salt Lake, I think that's definitely something. Get involved in the community, get on some boards, really just get involved in the community.
So Jessica, you might have said this when I stepped out, but, you know, could we clarify to these people that most of those people are excited to hear from you, want to hear
Yes.
from you? Can
Yes.
you just touch on that a bit if you haven't?
Absolutely, and we were really excited. We just had a Santa event. We've only done this 2 years, and you guys, I am 5 years into this. I do about 50% of what my coach tells me. I'm just not who I used to be. And so I mean, really, I tell these guys, let's implement this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that for a while. And then I'll implement it again. So we have had a Santa event last year, and then this year we had it, and we had, this is just to answer, just under 200 people RSVP'd to it.
Our attendance doubled from
Wow.
last year.
Doubled.
Wow.
So that's my answer is I think they are excited.
They are.
And they are, and I think it's really important I'm providing them with value, and we basically give them pictures for free. We have a photographer, we have a Santa. We have a bunch, we have mimosas, we have, so I think you have to bring them value and connect with them. And I think that that's the big difference, is just get in relationships like you are with your good friends. Yes?
At what point in your production do you find a Delilah and delegate everything other than sales to them?
Do you have an admin?
Just a TC.
How many do you close last year?
19.
Okay, soon. Yeah. So this is the coaching program I'm with the core training. And you guys, they are amazing. They really, truly, they've changed my life.
They changed my life too.
They did. I sent her to a team. They are incredible. So when they talk on stage and stuff, they will never mention gross. You have to do net. Like, to get into the program, you have to turn in tax returns to get in. And it is really, really cool. They are all about balance and relationship business, and they're moving a lot towards paid buyer agents. So not commissioned buyer agents, just because it's not very profitable. And so it's a lot of overhead, but if you're doing a lot of business, it makes sense. So my answer to that is they believe that for every one person, you should close 3 deals. So what's 3 times 12?
So every active client,
36?
So after
27, isn't it?
What was it you said?
3 times
3 times 12, 36?
36.
So
So-
36, you should be having another full-time person.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
So to give you guys an idea too, I think a lot of people make a really big mistake in terms of, I want to start a team, and I've closed not very much business. You guys, I don't know if you run into this, but that is just silly. You should be doing or have done a lot of business before you start building a team.
Thank you.
And oh my gosh, you guys, I promise, you will make way more money on your own deals than you will ever make on your buyer agents. But I know there's a lot of different ways to run a business, and my way is not the only way, but that's, if you are in the business and you're doing some deals, but I would just say put your head down and focus on your relationships and building your own personal business. That's really, so, and once you hire Delilah, they will take away 80-90% of your stuff that you shouldn't be doing, so that all you can do is focus on your green time, which is really, really important. Really quick, I'm gonna give you guys an idea. My coach right now, I said, well gosh, I feel like in order to grow, I need to, add more people. He's like, no you don't. And I was like, okay. He's like, Jessica, you are not allowed to have another salesperson, which would be a second salesperson. I'm the only salesperson until you are closing 100% of the time 9 transactions a month. So he wants me personally to be doing 120, where he says I should not have another salesperson. So that's the kind of the arena that my mindset is in. So I think it's really important. And also they believe in working 40, 50 hours a week, having a good marriage, having date night with your kids, saving a lot of money, giving a lot of money. So I think it's really important to just focus on your own business and creating value with your clients. I think it's really important.
do you handle your own buyers still then?
What?
Do you do your own buyers?
So this is where, so in the past what I've done, I have home shower. Basically, she's not with me any longer, but that's the direction. That will be my next hire, is basically a paid home shower. But I would be fine just working with listings, but that's not my business. I'm about probably 60-40, you think, or 70-30?
70-30.
On which
70
side?
Listings.
Listing probably. So, I mean, I go through phases, but I will go the home shower route, which is how I've done it in the past. So I pay them, I get the buyer broker in the beginning, and then they show the homes, and then I write the offer. I'm going to get to a point, because once you're doing so much business, I don't want to be called on Saturday when I'm having a date with my husband and say, hey, you have to write up an offer. I don't want to write up an offer at that time. So I will have a paid buyer agent, basically, that is not based on commissions. That's the direction that I'm gonna go with that, so. Okay, so value to SOI. Any other things that you guys wanna make sure that I touch on?
If it's not too personal, can you just share your why for why you did You went away, you came back, you're obviously successful in both aspects, and so what was your why to up it?
Yes.
I'm gonna add on to that and say your
Yeah.
why to switch from an attorney to real estate.
Okay. That was a long time ago, so it was about 2005, and I don't really know my reason. One of the reasons was just more logical, not really a deep down why, is I was studying for the LSAT and it was really hard. And I thought, gosh, I'm gonna have to go to law school. I'm gonna have $100,000+ in debt. And then I have to build my practice and then I have to build my clientele, and I just thought that it wasn't the route for me. So I don't know my why behind switching to a real estate agent, but my why now, I still sometimes try to figure that out, but it is lifestyle for me, guys. It really is, and that may seem simple. A lot of you guys know my husband got super sick about 4 or 5 years ago, and I spent a lot of money, and this is why I got back in the business, is because he was really sick and we had to just switch roles. And everything we did was not covered by insurance. Like 1 year, my net, I spent $100,000 just in medical stuff, $60,000 net in medical. We flew to Mexico every 3 months to do treatments. We went to Idaho twice a week. And so my mindset is always, if someone gets sick or if I go on vacation, I want to stay at the hotel I want to stay at. I want to go in the department. I want to do it the way I want to do it. So for me, it is a lifestyle thing. I do want to get back at a higher level. I'm not to that point yet. I want to open a youth center at some point and teaching kids about nutrition and thinking bigger, and that's definitely down the road. I'm just not there yet, but I want to live the life the way I want to live it, and if I can give to people, and I don't want to be like, well, gosh, you're sick and we can't afford that, so I'm not. It's just a big deal to me to do it the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, awesome. Yes?
It kind of goes along with the cold to warm shift, but like your first time reaching out to your SOI.
Yeah. So what I did is I sent a letter basically to everyone, and I apologized and basically said, I'm so sorry that I have not kept in better contact with you. It's my goal this year to keep in better contact. If there is anything I can do for you, please reach out to me. I have a lot of great connections in our community, and as you know, I'm in the real estate business. If there is anything I can ever do for you, please reach out to me. And then started calling after that. But basically, I just did an apology letter.
So originally it was a letter, not an email, or?
Mm-hmm. I just did a letter because it's what made sense, and I have always mailed to my SOI every single month, and I still do, and I will not stop doing that. I think videos are a really good way to keep in. Are any of you guys doing videos right now? None of you guys are doing videos?
Then email
Just like
me to a couple.
like a video text message or a video email, nothing like to everybody.
Okay. So how are you guys, just some ideas, because I think we can all learn from each other. Who's doing like good with their SOI, like keeping in contact? What do you do?
I send them a letter every month. I send them an email every month, and I call them. I call my A pluses every month, and I call
Awesome.
my A's every 6 weeks or 2 months, and the others.
So you're in a
Supposed to
coaching.
call them quarterly.
Is someone
Yes,
leading you through
yeah,
that?
yes.
Okay, that makes sense. So she's very similar to what I'm doing. Has it been good for you?
Very good, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's still so much more I want to do.
Oh my gosh. You guys, I go to a summit twice a year. It's a big, kind of like a Mike Ferry event, and I come home and I try not to overwhelm everyone, but I'm like, implement within 30 days, implement within 60 days, implement within 90 days.
Yeah.
You guys, I am like this big in my coaching program. I actually don't feel very good when I'm there. I feel really small. So there's my point in that is this is so cool about this real estate industry. Who here is just curious, feeling really frustrated right now with real estate in general? And be honest. Nobody? You are? Oh gosh, they're honest now. Okay. You guys, here's just my advice. I don't know where you're at on your journey, but this is just my advice. Sometimes you're sitting there going, gosh, well, I wish I was doing the numbers that she was doing, because then I would feel better. Every single level, there's a new challenge. You guys, it's leading people or providing better service, or, you know, I just enjoy where you're at right now. Work really, really hard and put your head down, and if you do that, it will happen. I mean, it really will. It's just, don't wish you're somewhere else, because there's different obstacles where I'm at. There's different obstacles where you're at. It's just, it's interesting. We have so far to go. There's so much I want to implement into my business that I would just say, enjoy the journey as you're going through it, because that's what's so cool about this business. When you get to my level or a different level or whatever that level is, I promise you won't be satisfied. I promise. Because you won't get to here if you're that person.
So if you're going to lunch several times a week and you're making all these phone calls, and then your coach says you need to be selling nine homes a month, that's 9 listing presentations and,
yep.
and 25 to 30 showings, and
yep.
How do you fit everything in?
I don't do admin work. All I do is sales work. You can fit it in. That's my answer. And that's his answer too.
No, I don't believe in admin either, I don't.
Yeah.
So I mean, you never get bogged down with like going to jazz games or going to.
Do I vacation a lot?
Yeah.
Not vacation, like taking clients.
Going out with clients, going to lunch, taking.
Oh, I see what
Yeah.
you're saying.
That's-
Sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying. Yeah, sometimes I don't feel like going, and I'm not always perfect with that, and I'm trying to implement it even more. Yeah, sometimes I don't feel like going, and sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't make that event. And
We're really strict with her schedule too, and something that's helped me in my life personally as well is color coding things in the calendar. So Jessica has what we call green time. She has green time from 10:30 to 5, and from 10:30 to 11:30 is her power hour where she's supposed to make all of her calls. So then anytime after 11:30, we're allowed to schedule any appointments for her that would be generating money, making it green, right? So going on a lunch, going on a listing appointment, anything like that, that would be generating revenue. Going to a face-to-face where she's donating her time at an event, that's green time still. So then we know that that block of time is where we can put anything, and then anything after that, she can schedule personal things.
I leave at
Yeah.
2 every Wednesday, always. I never work Sundays ever. Very seldom I work Saturdays. I'm not saying if the market tightens, which I think it will, I'm gonna have to increase my hours, and that's just the way it is, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, it's your schedule, you guys, will create freedom for you in your life, I promise you. Really quick, because I know we need to end, and I don't want to take your guys' time. One thing I just want to mention, 2 things I want to go over really quick. If I didn't answer all of those things, I'm sorry, and I'm happy to chat with you anytime. 2 things I want to just go over is money, okay? I used to, I said for 7+ years, I was probably at that 10 million. I think that's around 250 GCI, but I didn't have assistants, anything like that. So a lot of that was my net. My husband for sure has done that same amount of business as well, if not a little bit more. And we spent everything. We spent all our money all the time. So you guys, this is really exciting. My husband is better now, and he's been better for a while, and so he's been working. He makes similar money to me probably, depending on the year. And you guys, last year, our year-to-date savings was 42%.
Wow.
Nice job.
Wow.
That's
42%.
awesome.
From spending, Delilah, what was yours last month?
44% I saved.
Oh
Her
my
husband,
gosh.
like 44%. So any team leads in here, you guys do, I'm gonna pass these around, I'll pass them around. Do team budgets with your team. Here's a profit and loss if you guys want one too. And we can email them to you as well, but you guys make sure you're doing personal budgets with your team. Make sure they're saving money so that they can create retirement and create a life for
And you're
themselves.
saving that much after taxes and everything?
Well, it's taxable income, so yeah, yes.
I mean, you paid your taxes, you paid the IRS, and you're still saving 40%.
Put lots of money, you guys. I just paid off in 2010. It's very exciting. tax bill of like 60,000. I forgot to save for taxes. You guys, if you're new, save for taxes. It's really, really important. So I really learned to embrace my taxes. I'm really good at it. I pay myself a salary every month. I pay my quarterlies, and I save lots of money. I really love my taxes.
Did your coach help you with this?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's my point, is you guys get a hold of your finances. It is so important. Save money, you guys. Save your money, because you never know what's going to happen in your life. And I promise in this real estate world, I think it's a really fancy world, and we appear to be making more money than we are, because we're like, oh, my GCI is $1 million. Well, you net like $400,000 or $500,000, which is great. But if you're living that lifestyle, it's really easy to spend that much money. Okay, second thing, really quick, is just your coach. Make sure, you guys, the people that you are following are the right people and are going to be running the business that you want to run. I think that's just something that is, unfortunately, there's all these life coaches out there that have been divorced 4 or 5 times. Why are you following them? That makes no sense. So the bigger, the pile theory, follow those who are doing better than you. If you are following a coach that works 80 hours a week, that does not cherish his health and all of these things, you cannot follow the same schedule as his and keep your marriage and be a good dad or be a good mom, because they're living a different lifestyle than you. So follow those who have balance in their life. So the coaches in the core, just kind of keep in mind, they require you, I don't know the exact number, so you can't quote me on this. I think you have to have at least, and this is not equity in your home, like net cash, at least $1 million like of cash. That has nothing to do with your house. You cannot be working more than 45, 50 hours a week, or you will not be a coach. So they are really, you have to give a certain amount. 500 people in that program will give away $13 million.
Wow.
So they track your giving. If you're not giving, you're not in it. So I just think who you are following is so important, because you cannot work the same schedule as someone that's marriage is falling apart and they're not a good dad or mom, or I just think it's really important to choose very wisely who you are following. And that's it, guys.
Thank you.
Gabby and Wayne, you want to come see me after? I got some money for you.
That was great. Oh, you're so nice. Thank you.